Hello, beautiful. I'm your host, Nicole Goff. Welcome to the Ecstatic Life Podcast, the podcast for women who want it all: health, wealth, freedom, authenticity, love, beauty, all of the hidden gems just waiting to be uncovered. This is the podcast for women who are ready to discover their inner creatrix, to discover their inner manifester, and who want to find the ecstatic in every day. Hello, and welcome to a between season episode of the Ecstatic Life podcast. I am here with my sometimes co-host Shellbe to reintroduce the most downloaded episode of season 1, which was our Natural Solutions for Mental Health podcast.
Because it's just such an organic idea, just some things we were kind of throwing back and forth, and we were like, oh my gosh, we should really talk about this, which I guess is what all of our podcast episodes are like. But I think we've put a lot more thought and time into other ones. So that's really cool that just came out and that's been the most downloaded. So
yeah, which also makes me think that we need to do a part 2 of some sort. You know, we were talking before we hit record about anxiety and solutions for anxiety, including electrolytes, which we've both been really into this last year. So definitely seems like a topic we should be bringing back around.
Definitely. Because after that conversation, I took a lot of the things that you had said and implemented that into my life. And anxiety is such an interesting thing because to me, I don't react to, oh my gosh, I'm running out of money in my bank account. It's more like I'm just hanging out and all of a sudden I'm like, why am I so anxious? So it's like digging deep and like unpeeling the onion to figure out what's going on. So I've discovered a lot of new stuff. So I'd love to do an episode on that with you. It's really helpful.
That's awesome. And I think for the most part, this episode is just like really simple daily that anybody can do. You know, working with the essential oils, getting sunlight, getting enough sleep, getting good nutrition. Like this is like such basic stuff. So maybe we can go a little deeper. Maybe we can talk about some of the bigger lifestyle shifts that can be, because it all builds habit stacking, it builds on top of each other. And once you master those simple daily shifts, then you can start taking on things that are a little more complicated. So
Definitely, which you've been doing so awesome with your 90-day, what do you call it? Do you call it a workshop? Do you call it
I called this one a challenge. It's
challenge?
new you by the new year, 90-day challenge.
Yeah, 90-day challenge. And that's
group workshop.
Group workshop. And that's been really great. And you've done awesome with giving us all the information and doing the habit stacking and really being diligent about sticking to it. So you're definitely an expert.
It can get difficult here at the holidays, so it's also a good time to reintroduce the natural solutions for mental health, because that can as well be tempting during this time of year. I know you're with your in-laws for Thanksgiving. I just got out of my Friendsgiving. I didn't see any family for Thanksgiving this year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just a friend potluck. So
yeah, that sounds amazing. I'm not super big on the holiday. So I don't eat meat, so I don't care about the turkey. I do love to cook, but this is the holiday that I bring my daughter to spend with her other side of the family, and it's fun because they do all the decorations, and so we, get to do that side for this, and then we have our crunchy Christmas at my house. So, but yeah, let's talk about that, because this time of year, unfortunately, a lot of the focus has been taken away from what we're supposed to be focusing on in the holidays. And now it's just shopping. I mean, today's Black Friday, and I'm sure, I'm going to hit thrift stores today. See what I can find. I don't want to go be a part of all the madness, but yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's the perfect time to focus on your mental health and your overall health.
Yeah.
To really shield yourself from some of the stuff that comes with the holidays. Unfortunately, because it should be a time about having fun and being with family and relaxing, and people get time off. They should be enjoying it, but it does. There tends to be a lot of stress and anxiety and conflict that come with the holidays.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then we can talk about the gut brain connection, which we did talk about that in that episode. So here we are eating a lot of sugars, a lot of heavy foods, and then that causes dehydration, which causes anxiety, or it mimics anxiety. So that's what I've noticed within myself. So I also like to talk about, and I want to hear yours too, some of the like hacks around what you're eating to make your digestive system not crazy. You know?
Yeah.
So, like, I indulged yesterday, but I also had some tricks and tips that I did, drink a cup of hot tea as you're having this, and then it just helps the digestive system to not make you feel like
Yeah, we had some fermented vegetables and
Mhm.
some naturally fermented sodas made with
Wow.
yeah, ginger bugs. So, yeah, we got some of those good probiotics in with our Thanksgiving dinner yesterday.
Awesome, awesome. I'm coming to your place next time. That sounds great.
Yeah, yeah, be a part of my Friendsgiving.
Oh, that's
Well,
great.
I'm hoping everybody enjoys round 2 of this episode as much as they
Yeah,
enjoyed the round 1, and I look forward to talking to you more, Shelby, in
yeah.
26. Love you,
Well, I'm
girl.
so proud of you, and congrats on the downloads. That's awesome. I'm so
Yeah.
happy that people are enjoying our conversations as much as we are.
Yeah, and actually, our conversations were in the top 2 on YouTube. The number 1 and number 2 viewed episodes were number 1, your birth story,
Oh
and,
my.
and yeah, yeah, and number 2, your extended breastfeeding story.
Oh,
So you're gonna have to come back again
yeah.
to like I was saying before we hit record, we need to do a like super extra crunchy hippie mom solutions or
Yep.
something. I'll come up with a better title, but
Yeah, because we are extended breastfeeding here, and it's getting crunchier around here. So, yeah,
yeah,
I think I can contribute a lot to that conversation. You don't
well,
realize how quote unquote crunchy you are until you step out of your normal. Because like you and I could like even my fingernails are polished. Like this is like me, like oh, I'm gonna be fancy, and like this is my 20% toxicity.
yeah,
Um, But, when you and I have a conversation, we are the normal things like, oh, yeah, you use essential oils, you use fermented foods, like that's normal conversation. But when you go out of that normalcy, you realize, like, ooh, like the amount of snack foods and like things that I brought, like I'm the girl that brings salt to the restaurant. You know what I mean? I bring real
yeah,
salt. I take coconut sugar with me because I don't like white sugar. I mean, and I have to go, okay, I'm just gonna use a little bit of this sugar because I didn't bring my sugar, whatever, So you don't realize how crunchy you are until you step out of your normal area.
did
It's
you
kind of
see the
fun.
post I did the last time I went to a resort and I had my unbleached toilet paper and I
Uh,
said, I am that bitch that brings toilet paper to the hotel. Like
yeah.
putting
Oh yeah, I bring hand soap.
off on my lady parts.
Yeah, I bring my own hand soap
Yeah. Yeah.
usually. So, all right, well, we have tons to talk about. So I look forward to another episode. And again, congrats. And I hope everyone enjoys this episode because, as all of them do, they come from our heart and our experience and just the hopes that one thing that we say will change somebody's life, mood, night's sleep, something,
Improve
you
their
know?
mental health.
Yeah, I really hope so. So thank you for having me as always.
Thank you. Love you, girl.
Love you too, man. Bye.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Ecstatic Life podcast. I am here today with my sometimes new co host,
Mhm.
Shelby Kugel. Welcome,
Thank
Shelby.
you. I'm happy to be here.
Shelby is ex co host of the Fearless Motherhood podcast and is now going to be moonlighting with me here
I
sometimes.
love that idea. Actually, I decided to change my on my signature on my emails. It said co-host of the Fearless Motherhood podcast. I decided to change it to former because I was going to erase it, and then I was like, no, I put a lot of energy and love and time into that damn podcast, and sorry, I loved it. I loved it. And it was going in a direction I started to change with myself, which is why I'm excited to be teaming up with you because I want to live a more ecstatic life and I love everything that you're bringing to the table. So I feel like I'm moving more in that direction, of let's focus on the positives of life instead of the negatives. Now, however, I will say on air, I'm very passionate about those anti things. I am. But it made me realize that I wanted to focus more on the positives and not just don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And it's like, okay, well, we're not doing that. Now what do we do about it? Like, okay, there's all these problems. Let's figure out a way to have a solution to that. In a nutshell, I have a lot. I mean, I could talk for an hour about that, but
that's the whole point of this, because it's a journey, and you start out being very anti once you are awake to the problems in the world and you're pointing them out, and it's like you just want to share that with everybody. Like, look at how fucked up everything is. Can't you guys see? Wake up, everybody. But then along your evolution, you get to a point where it's like, oh, okay, well, things have kind of always been fucked up in one way or another. What can we do about it now? Like, how can we be the solution? How can we be the thing that brings more joy to people's lives? And so that is why we're here, and that's what we're doing with our in-person. So me and Shellbe had one in-person event so far where we were teaching new moms and moms to be about how to holistically care for themselves and their babies during pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. And we have another one in the works on how to holistically care for yourself, for your mental health. And so that is what we are here to talk about today, how holistic solutions for mental health can make your life more ecstatic.
Yeah.
And before we get into that, Shellbe, I would love it if you would just kind of give your background to the audience. Tell us, how you got into this space, because I know we touched on it a little bit on the first episode we did together, which was extended breastfeeding, which has been in my top 2 still of all of the recordings I've done with anybody. Is like in my top 2 interviews. I love that
thank
one.
you.
Which is why I invited you to come on whenever you want,
Thanks.
because I love talking to you.
Well, thank you. I'm honored. Thank you so much. And I'm so proud of you for everything you've done. I reached out to you like maybe 2 years ago just via Facebook, and we haven't seen each other or spoken in probably 25 years just because of life, and that's it. And I'm so excited for all the collaborating that we've been doing. I mean, the first time we had you on Fearless Motherhood, I was like, this is a fantastic conversation. So I'm very excited for all the things that you and I can do together. And the in-person events are so special, because the last one we had that you just mentioned at the Healing House, to me, my sister Carly did it with us, and it felt like, I don't know if support group is the right word, but her and I were throwing around that idea, like, there were tears shed. There was a husband present. There were birth stories shared. There were fears revealed. And it was just such a beautiful space. I mean, what I said when I started this, when we were talking about that event, was, I want you to come barefoot in your leggings or your long skirt, and let's just sit together and be together. Have a cup of hot tea, and let's just be together, and learn about all these holistic things. And that's exactly what it was. So, sorry to go off on that tangent, but I'm actually having another one on Sunday, Holistic Solutions for Women. I'm perimenopausal, so I've been focusing a lot on that, using a lot of essential oils to support that. So I want to share. So that's this Sunday at the Healing House on the 23rd. So you asked about me. I digress. I am in this space because I'm a mother, and I am very passionate about giving my child the absolute best start to life. Of course, all mothers are, all parents are. I was raised very, I guess you could use the word like a hippie lifestyle. My parents were very natural, very spiritual. There was a lot of Buddha talk in the house, and, enough Bible to know what it was. But we really focused just on the earth and what the earth can offer us. We lived in the Bahamas. I grew up on a sailboat. So we really just focused on what the earth could bring us. And so my mom would make tinctures for us. And anytime we were sick, we had this stuff called the witch's brew that she would make. And I realized, I don't know why I haven't introduced my daughter to that nastiness, because it works. Echinacea, golden seal, and peppermint in a little tincture knocks anything out.
Yummy.
So good. But see, I feel like I can handle any of that herbal shit now, because I wasn't raised on like what are the Flintstone vitamins? I didn't take that. So to me, vitamins aren't supposed to taste like candy. They're supposed to taste like the earth, like dirt, So I'm constantly searching for some like real earthy stuff for my daughter. But anyways, going through my life, I've just always paid attention to things like skincare and what's going into our bodies when we put it on our skin. Which is nice to be in my 40s and all this isn't new information. I've kind of always paid attention to that. And eating plant-based I haven't eaten meat since I was about 22, just because I don't like it. So I've gotten really creative in the kitchen. I was also a chef on some yachts for a little while, so I was able to dive into that. And
ooh, that's cool.
that was a really cool experience.
That sounds like
It
fun.
was fun. It was really cool. That was exciting because people were always intrigued. Like, what do you mean? How do you have a whole meal with no meat? And so every once in a while I got to get creative and cook for them. So that was fun. So it pushed my boundaries a little bit. And I got to travel around and go to a lot of cool restaurants too. So I got to experience more food. But anyways, the food with the herbs, a couple years ago, after my daughter was about 6 months old, I was using a lot of homeopathy and I learned a lot about homeopathy. And then I felt like which now I feel like I want to learn so much more about that. But I had a few bottles of essential oils sitting on my counter and I was like, well, I don't really know what to do with these. Like, what else I know there's more potential here. So I just dove into it head first. And now I've made a whole business out of it. And I love sharing it with people. And they're really powerful. And I use them all the time for so many things. So that's become my passion. So I built a brand called Essentially Shellbe that came to my mind at 3:00 in the morning. Thought it was kind of cheesy.
As the best. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, that is.
I get my inspiration 3:00 in the morning, sit bolt upright in bed, and I'm like, oh shit, where's my journal?
Right. I was like, Essentially Shellbe, that could be my email address. I was like, that's so cheesy. And then it turned into like, that's a good brand name. And I added a little logo of a tree of life. And here we go. So I'm working on my blog and you can find all of my things Essentially Shellbe under there. And if I don't know the answer, I can find someone who does have it. So that's me.
Yeah, that's what I love about. So you were just talking about the idea of creating these community spaces, and that's what I love about that, because we brought together our friend who's an acupuncturist, and your sister is there who is also an essential oil specialist, and I brought my doula knowledge, and so we all were bringing our knowledge into this round table, into this circle, and then the moms and one dad that were there, also contributed to the conversation, and I loved the way that brought the community together. And that is one of the really fun things about in-person events. So I'm really looking forward to doing this next one with you.
Yeah.
Because it's the energy that can be felt in those spaces when we're all contributing is really awesome.
So beautiful.
And we have a good community to kind of pick from. So yeah, if I don't know the answer to something, I can guarantee to have another mama friend who does.
Absolutely. It's just so powerful to all come together like that. So if you're in the area, contact us and we'll let you know when we have another event, or if you have an idea for an event. I feel like we're on fire right now with stuff to do. So
Yeah. And so our next one, to transition into that, we are going to be talking about natural solutions for mental health. And, both of us have had our struggles with anxiety, and, I've had some mental health crises early in my life, in my teen years, and been on SSRIs and, some pretty horrible toxic shit that they give you, and it made all the problems worse, and so we'll be talking in an episode that's coming up soon about my struggles with mental health due to sexual assault, and we'll get really deep into the histories there. But just to say, I struggled for many years with mental health, and none of the pharmaceuticals did anything but make it worse. And so I, started with educating myself and went to school for psychology. And then I got into yoga and mindfulness meditation. And I kept learning new ways to heal and empower myself through that. And on the other side of it, using these natural approaches is actual reclamation of your mental health. And what happens when you put pharmaceuticals in the mix is you either create someone who is an addict. You can't, it's so hard, especially like these benzos and stuff. They're so hard to detox off of. Like, it's almost impossible to take yourself off of them without harming yourself. They are just so incredibly dangerous for you. And I would never suggest, if somebody is on an SSRI or a benzo or something like that, like never like just quit cold turkey and start going into natural solutions. Yeah. You have to taper. You have to seriously taper. Sometimes just like 1% a day to get off of that stuff. It hijacks your brain. It hijacks your body. It has such a, like the cascade of side effects are just, I mean, one of the main ones being like suicidality. So you take someone who's already having mental health problems and you give them a pill that actually, one of the known side effects is suicidal ideation. So, and that's not even like an uncommon side effect. That's like one of the common ones. So that route, in my experience, and so many women that I've known who I've walked that path with, who I've been with walking that path, have had the same experience. And yet, there are so many free and natural technologies, solutions, like essential oils, like herbs, like sunlight, like grounding. And we'll get into that some more as we go on.
Well, in getting to the root cause.
Yes.
And I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that's getting to the root cause.
No, you're fine.
I mean, I literally just gave my daughter yesterday, we had to drive a long drive, and she had a horrible headache and she was running a fever. I normally would not give her anything except for herbs and essential oils, but she had to sit in her car seat. She was miserable. And I gave her some Motrin. I finally talked into just a tiny bit of Motrin to make her okay. And it was so weird, the switch of her attitude and how she felt. All of a sudden, she was like perfectly fine. And the reason I'm bringing that up, because it didn't make her better. It just masked the symptoms for a little while, which is what I wanted it to do, so we could drive home, right? I've never given her anything like that before, so it was actually very weird because I'm like, you're not okay. So that going into using pharmaceuticals for mental health, you're not okay. Like, I have a very dear friend of mine who has had some very traumatic things happen in her life, and she's medicated, and which I'm not judging at all. If I went through what she went through, I would absolutely be there doing the same, at least if that was offered to me. But she's walking around like, everything's good. Everything's good. And I'm like, but it's not. Underneath that, it's not okay. Like, you are going to crumble if you don't have that. And I don't have any experience with taking pharmaceuticals, but I have experience with, like you're saying, I mean, it's just masking the symptoms. So if we can get to the root of the symptom, then we can actually move on. And you are a perfect example of that, Nicole, because you have really dove in. I mean, you've really done the work. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot of work, and I think that is probably the biggest drawback to most people jumping into it, because there's this magical thinking that you can take a pill a day and it's going to solve all your problems, and that is this huge lie that we have been fed in our society, and it's just not true. You can't just take a pill. And they got this Ozempic that's so popular now. You can't just take a pill and lose weight and it's, you're magically better.
Right.
No, the horrific side effects, horrific. I mean, taking years off of your life. I mean, it's the same with everything when you just throw a pill at it. And when you're talking about Tylenol, those NSAIDs, they tear holes in your gut lining.
I know.
And it's like, but sometimes, like, I mean, I have given my kids throughout the years, maybe a couple of times a year, I'll give them some kind of a pain reliever or fever reducer. Like, there's just some things like toothaches. My kids have such problems with their teeth. They have horrible teeth genetics, not from my side.
Yeah, not at all.
So when they've had teeth problems, I have broken down, but it's like, the consequences. You're aware that there are side effects. And for people that are on these things every single day, the harm it's doing to your body has a cascading effect, and it actually ends up fueling some of these mental health crises, because leaky gut is actually highly correlated to mental health problems. It's when you have leaky gut, like there's the gut brain connection, and that lining is the same that encapsulates your brain. So the blood brain barrier is connected, and so when you have leaky gut, you also have leaky brain.
Oh, that is
yeah.
That diagnosis, leaky gut, is like, it makes me cringe, and I'm not like, I don't know what it is about that diagnosis. I'm like, what is that? You know.
Shit that's not supposed to be getting into your
bloodstream.
Body, into your bloodstream. Like it's supposed to be encapsulated in your digestive tract, and like it's seeping out, like poisons are seeping out into your body. Yeah, it is. It's super creepy. But the brain fog, a lot of the depression and the brain fog and the the mental fog that a lot of people experience can be tied back to those gut health problems. So one of the biggest solutions is to heal your gut.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I was going to bring that up because I was working with, when we talked about this episode, I was thinking about this. I worked with an acupuncturist I still go see her periodically, but for a year I was diligent to see her because I was having digestive issues, and I didn't even know. I mean, I've been vegan, vegetarian, raw, all the things that I thought was really good for my digestive system. But I also went through a very stressful time. I mean, it was 2022. So I think we all went through a really stressful time. But personally, I had some personal things that I was having a lot of frustration, a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry. And I went into the acupuncturist. The diagnosis was liver spleen disharmony. And I had a lot of dampness and damp heat in my gut. Blew me away. I had no idea about this. But so quickly, my journey with her, I kept saying, I don't know what to eat. Like, I'm trying to eat like gluten-free and this, and I cut all these things out of my diet, and it helped tremendously. But then I would just have these flare-ups where I'd have this pain in my side and I just wasn't feeling good. And she sat down with me, and she's so wonderful and spiritual. I love it. She said, it's the emotions. It's the worry, it's the stress, it's the frustration. And that's where I'm circling back to the gut and your mental health. And I can tell there is one person in particular that triggers me, and I will not speak their name. There's one person that triggers me. And when that happens, I can feel it in my side. I get this pain in my intestines or something, or my spleen, where I'm like,
liver? Oh. Is it if it's anger? Anger is stored in the liver.
It could be, yes, it could be. It's my liver and spleen, my sweet liver and spleen that I love so much and I'm taking such good care of. But I'm like, son of a bitch, I can feel it in my gut right now. So it wasn't that I had a smoothie for breakfast. It was that I'm letting this person get into my mental health and rock me. So that's, so it's totally connected.
And it can work both ways, and that's the thing. I mean, what you're putting into your body affects your mental and emotional state, and your mental and emotional state then also affect your gut. So you're not actually able to digest properly when you're stressed out. So one thing, and I actually had a eating psychologist on. The episode will be coming out probably before this one. Or maybe right afterwards, but I've had her on, and she was telling me something that just totally blew my mind. The reason why you say a grace or give gratitude before you eat is actually tied to being able to digest your food properly. Because when you're in a state of gratitude, you actually trigger your gut to start digesting.
Wow.
And I'm like, blew me away, because it's like, I mean, we do it at home. Like we talk about the things we're thankful for, and we eat meat, and so we thank the animals and we thank the farmers, and like we do that naturally, like as more of a spiritual practice. But she was saying, like, it actually changes the state your body is in. And if you're stressed out and you're eating like, oh my gosh, I got to get somewhere in 10 minutes, let me just wolf this like food down real quick, you are going to have that food sitting in you like a lump in your stomach, because in that state of stress, your body is like, oh, we don't have time to concentrate on digesting this food because something's after us,
Right.
our primal brain, something's going to get us. So we're not going to digest this food right now. So it's like, yeah, that really blew me away.
That really, it does. And my acupuncturist, Rebecca, actually told me the same thing. I was like, if I look at this carrot and go, oh, this raw carrot is going to just totally make my stomach hurt. Like, I can't digest this. And then I eat it. And she's like, pay attention to what you're doing. Like, if you want to have some ice cream, like, I don't suggest you have ice cream with what we're trying to deal with here, but enjoy it so much. Like, just love it. And one thing my mom told me when I was 18 years old and I was smoking a cigarette, she said, listen, if you're going to smoke a cigarette, just do 2 things for me. I said, okay, what? This is weird. She's like, exhale all the smoke out and enjoy it. If you're going to do it, enjoy it. And I have thought about that my whole adult life, because that's playing right into this. She said, don't sit there and go, this is going to kill me. This is going to kill me. This is going to kill me. Then why the hell are you doing it? Like, enjoy it. So if I eat that raw carrot, I don't need to be thinking about, oh, my stomach can't digest this because it's raw and it's too hard. Just enjoy the damn carrot.
It's so interesting, though, because you talk about how a plant-based diet has been really good for you. I have had an ethical and moral problem with meat for my whole life, and I've gone on and off with being vegetarian, and I don't tolerate vegetarianism. Every time I do it, I get weak and sick, and at one point my iron was down to a 6 when I was pregnant, and I had to get on liver, and I need the meat. And this incarnation, it seems, or the level that I'm at, whatever, this body, it needs some meat, which I started raising my own animals and helping in the slaughtering of them. And I was like, well, if I'm going to do this, like, I'm going to do it right. Like, I'm going to source ethical meats. And I did a brief stint of carnivore diet. Did I tell you about that?
Yeah, well, I read your newsletter about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I did, I was going to do a whole month, and then my husband chickened out on me. After 9 days, he was like, I'm wasting away. I need carbs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, because the no carbs. Yeah, I don't know if I could do that either.
Yeah. And I was like feeling so good.
Yeah.
I was like high on life, and I'm like, woo. And he's like, this is killing me.
That's funny. That's like the man typically should be like, I feel great, right?
No, I was like, I made him like, it was like, I think lamb or something. And like normally something he would like love. And he's like, I can't put this in my body. I'm like, okay, let's just quit. Cause I didn't really want to do carnivore diet. Cause it's kind of like the idea of it grosses me out. But when I was in it and I was eating the meat, it was just like, like lioness. Like I was just loving it. I'm like, I had like, a sausage and a hamburger patty at the same time. Like,
oh my God.
Sausage on top of the hamburger patty.
God.
Like, it was crazy.
I asked my acupuncturist, do I need to introduce meat into my diet? I would do it if I got blood work and I really needed to do it, I would absolutely do that. But I just don't like the texture. I don't like, it grosses me out. Even eggs, I gotta crack them, cook it, put hot sauce on and eat it real quick. If I think about it, I can't do it. I'm over. So
it's a chicken period.
Yeah, exactly.
You're literally eating a period. So,
Thanks.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just, I always say, I'm like, ooh, I'm one documentary away from not eating cheese anymore. Just like, all I have to do if I want to cut cheese out of my diet, just have to think about one of the documentaries I've watched. And I won't tell you why, because everyone, if they want to know, they can go look it up themselves. But,
Well, speaking of cheese, it's actually really bad for your mental health. Dairy for most people does not do well with their system, and dairy is very addictive. So I don't tolerate dairy. I never have, and which is unfortunate because it tastes so damn good.
But that's the addictive stuff in it, right?
It is. It's so, and gluten. So dairy and white bread are like 2 of the most addictive substances. And then the third being sugar. Like, so you combine all those things, dairy and sugar and white flour, and that's like basically like crack. So
That's why kids want pancakes for breakfast every morning, right? It's like,
yeah,
let's
I
mix
mean,
all three of those things together. But oh yeah, like I don't know. I mean, I was gonna say a piece of sourdough bread, but I guess that's like the best bread if you want to eat it, like homemade sourdough.
yeah,
But like
yeah, yeah.
piece of sourdough bread and some cheese. I mean, yeah, that's a weakness.
Well, once the microbes take care of it for you. So, um, once when you have a fermented
Mm-hmm.
product like kefir or real cheese, not like most cheese out there is not just like most of the beer on the shelf isn't actually fermented. It's basically like alcoholic soda water,
Oh yeah.
most of the kombuchas and kefirs that are on the grocery store shelf are they're not, they're dead. It's a dead product with maybe like a little bit of like lab made
Mm.
probiotics sprinkled back in, because of pasteurization. But when you have real live foods, real live fermented foods, such as the sourdough bread, the yeast and the bacterias that are in those ferments actually work to create a product that is more digestible for human beings. And I've been trying to, with my grains and my beans and my nuts, to pre-ferment them a little bit. So I sprout them and then I leave them, like if you leave them for over 24 hours, they sprout and they start to ferment a little bit. And so this like enzymatic process, it's actually like pre-digesting it, so it's making the food into a form
Mm-hmm.
that your gut can actually handle and absorb the nutrients from. And back to mental health, like that is really key, because uh, the gut brain axis is it's just such a huge thing. And it's like if you're putting foods into your body that are causing inflammation, that are causing leaky gut, that you can't digest, and it's like this white flour sugar dairy combo that not even to mention all of the preservatives, and that's like a whole other level.
Uh-huh.
But this is tearing up our guts, and it's causing this permeability that is leading to brain fog and mental health problems. And then on top of it, most things have preservatives and seed oils, and pretty much anything on the shelf that has comes in a box has some kind of preservative and seed oil in it. And those wreak havoc on your mental health also. I mean, when you have that inflammation, that's one of the biggest problems, when you have all that inflammation in your body, like how is your brain
Mm-hmm.
supposed to
Mm-hmm.
function?
Yeah, I listened to a book, and I should have referenced this. I could maybe find it and we could put it in the show notes. But I listened to an audiobook, and it was Raising Healthy Brains. And it was the couple things that stood out for me was how mental health, like maybe ADHD, ADD, especially in adults, it's a sign of an unhealthy brain. So, like you're saying, the seed oils, and playing sports too. This kind of, my niece is playing soccer, so this kind of like, triggered me in my brain. That sports like soccer and these contact sports where you're hitting your head on the ball or you're hitting their head on the helmet over and over and over, it just really is bruising your brain as, as a, what is it, your brain an organ? Yeah. It's actually bruising it. And then with the amount of screen time that we have now, so like if an adult is on their phone all the time and they're not eating healthy diet, and then they get a ADD diagnosis, or they say to themselves like, or they say, oh, I have ADD, I have ADHD, da da da. It's like, well, your brain is unhealthy. Like literally
Yeah.
as its own organ, its own thing, your brain is unhealthy. So I thought that was interesting. It was a really good book too. I'll have to dig that up and let you know so you could put it in the show notes if you want.
Yeah, definitely do. Yeah, the screens, that's been a huge one for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard when you're working with clients, and also doing the podcast and doing the blog, and creating these like courses and stuff. Like you have to spend the time in front of the computer, and all of my trainings now are online.
Right.
It's not like I'm going to a coach in person
Mm-hmm.
and working one-on-one. It's like all on the computer. Everything is moved into this digital world, and so it's so hard to get away from it. So a big tip that I have, and this is what I do with both food and screen time. I am on a 12-12
Mm.
rhythm. So minimum 12-hour detox from both food and screens each day. So I set, and when I first started doing this, I actually had to set an alarm in my phone to remind me. But 12 hours with no screens and 12 hours with no food, because your body needs that time to reset and adjust. So I start at 8:30 at night. I make sure I finish my last meal and I finish my work that needs to be done by 8:30 at night. And then I do not pick up my phone or open my laptop or make breakfast until after 8:30 the next morning.
That's, you're so good. We talked about this when you came on Fearless Motherhood about you're very diligent in your habits. And I'm impressed by that. I have a very hard time sleeping.
It's a learned skill. Yeah. It's a learned skill. And that's actually where it started, was I had bad insomnia, like crippling insomnia for so many years.
But I feel I can't.
Yeah, it's a learned skill. Hello, beautiful. How does your morning routine make you feel? Are you jumping out of bed, full of energy, ready to tackle the day? Or are you waking up groggy to a blaring alarm and going straight for your cup of coffee in order to fuel your misery? I can tell you, a couple of years ago, I was in the latter category. But now I wake up every day, well, nearly every day, ecstatic about life. And because of that, I decided to create a series of workshops called Ecstatic Habits, which are the daily practices that I use to bring more joy, health and wellness, passion, energy, and vitality into my life. The first in this series is my 7-day detox course, and it has just launched. In this workshop, I teach simple, effective, and gentle methods of detoxification that work with your body's natural detox pathways. These detoxification habits can help you eliminate bloat, skin problems, brain fog, fatigue, headaches, and so much more. And I've put it all together in an easy-to-follow, guided, step-by-step process, including a whole week's worth of videos, PDF instructions, recipes, and more support. So head over to my website, NicoleGoffSpeaks.com, and check out my offers tab and sign up for the 7-day detox if you are ready to make your life more ecstatic.
My problem with the fasting or the overnight, I have a very hard time sleeping with an empty stomach. Like, it makes me feel queasy. So then I will often get up and have a sip of, I have the Eden soy milk. I'll just get up and chug some of that and then be able to go back to sleep. But if I have an empty stomach when I lay down, I don't like that feeling at all. It makes me feel queasy. I don't know if I just need to move past it or what.
Eat a sweet potato right before bed is the last thing you eat.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I just got out of that 6-week course that I did with the detox diet. And that was one of the things that they suggested in that.
A sweet potato. Okay.
Yep. A cooked sweet potato as the last thing that you eat. So I started I now have it as breakfast and as dessert with cooked sweet potato. And it's so easy because you can cook 10 of them at a time and then they're there for the whole week. With ghee and cinnamon and salt, and I mush it up. And sometimes I sprinkle nuts or seeds on top of it to add a little texture. Oh my gosh, so good. It doesn't need sugar or honey or anything because they're so sweet already. So yeah, whole cooked sweet potato as your dessert.
I love it. That's a great idea.
Yeah,
I've been making my own ghee too, which is really nice. I wanted to mention a new friend of mine. Her name's Melissa Baker. And she is the founder of Unplug Academy. I was just pulling up the email to give the exact website, but Unplug Academy, and she talks about digital wellness. And as far as weaning yourself from screen time. So she's really knowledgeable. She's super awesome. She's in the Gainesville area. I'm actually working on collaborating some things with her, but you could look her page up to kind of get some tips on, especially with children, how to work around that screen time. That's been my biggest problem is I can kind of regulate my screen time, but then when my daughter has a cold or she's sick or something, she's been on She has literally been watching a screen for 2 days straight. And like, I don't know what else to do with her. And it's like, she just doesn't feel good. And I'm like, if you just lay here and rest, it's okay. But then it drives me crazy because I'm like, oh my God, she's been watching TV for this many hours, you know? I'm like, now we're going to need to detox from all that. So that's a
Well,
difficult.
but that's what a cold is.
Yeah.
That is what a cold is. It is a detox. So, like I've started getting really into terrain theory because I have not been sick for over a year because I have started taking such good care of my terrain. And I'm a convert, germ theory is that you get sick because of the germs in the environment. Terrain theory is that you get sick because your body is unhealthy and it needs a detox. And so something triggers it, which can be something in the environment, obviously. It could be a microbe, but that the reason you have those detox symptoms, runny nose and coughing and fever and all those things, is because your body wasn't in the best health and it needed a detox. But as far as like letting your kids like crack out on TV when they're sick, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like if they're miserable and crying, is that any better for you?
Right.
If you're just like in misery and pain and like, like anguish,
Well,
and paying attention
right.
to the anguish, that might be worse for you than the, at least like kind of, zoning out of that,
Right.
so that you can just let your body rest.
That's my theory. And then I just walk by her constantly rubbing some essential oils on her toes. And like the On Guard essential oil blend is the immune system boosting one. And I literally I have to like bring myself in and stop constantly. But I'm like every half hour I go by and I'm like, give me your toes, and rub it on her toes. Well, and as far as the detoxing thing, I think that might be what's going on with her right now because we were just traveling and we stayed up late, got up early. And she's pretty well traveled because I feel like if I expose her to a lot of stuff that she won't like freak out when she goes somewhere, and has a new experience. Like I know some families that do 0 screen time. And the mom's like, oh my gosh, if we're ever somewhere and my kid watches TV like at someone's house, the kid will get a fever, which I thought was crazy. I was like, wow, that's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah. She's like, my kid's fever.
Ooh,
all
what
the
does
time.
that
I don't know.
What does that say about what it's doing
I don't
to
know.
you? But but there's a balance because it's in it's everywhere. Yeah. It's like trying to mitigate your exposure to 5G. Well, it's too fucking late.
Right.
Like our bodies at some point have to learn to adapt to these things, and we are so adaptable, especially kids. So yeah, if there is no exposure, then you don't know how to tolerate it. But that is so interesting.
I know.
Speaking of essential oils though, I before we get too far like off the subject, I would love it if you would give the listeners some essential oils that are good for supporting their mental health.
Okay.
And mental and emotional health.
Absolutely. So since we were talking about digestion, the DigestZen blend from doTERRA, it's actually, there's a whole book on essential oils and emotions. So you can just like look up your emotion and it gives you a few oils as suggestions. The DigestZen blend is very good for digesting emotions. So even when I'm feeling stressed, so then it's attacking my, the stress is making my digestion. I put that on it comes in a nice little roller bottle. So just put that on my belly button and whatever, if it's my liver, my spleen, I kind of just rub it all over. And that also calms, your emotions and helps to digest your emotions, since those two things are definitely in correlation. And that one has caraway, fennel, coriander, cardamom, and peppermint. Which is it's a nice smell. The next one I would say would be peppermint. That one really resonates with me a lot because it's very bright and awakening. So I like to put that in my diffuser in the mornings. And it pairs really well with wild orange, which wild orange is one of the top oils to use for any type of anxiety or depression. And if you think of you think of citrus, like it's so bright and shiny and sunny and like it's just happy, right? So some wild orange and some peppermint in a roller or in your diffuser is really awakening and brightens you up and just, it kind of makes you happy without you even trying, you're like, I feel better, even when you kind of want to be bummed. So those are probably my top 3. I really enjoy those. And then, I do consultations with people too, because there's a lot of times, like, I don't love a few oils. Like, they just don't sit well with me. Like lemongrass, I just really don't like. But for someone else, that lemongrass could be the oil that really makes them feel really good. And doTERRA has a few really nice blends, like the Console blend is for heartache and heartbreak, which is nice. I've used that a couple times in the past couple years. I also use that on my daughter when her dad leaves, because we live separately. And so we visit a lot, but when he leaves, I just rub some of that on her heart. And now she kind of knows that that's like the smell. And I also put that on her when he comes back, because that gives her that connection of he's always going to come back. So I want that smell she recognizes. And now she really enjoys that. So
That's really cool. Yeah, because the olfactory senses, like that is so tied to emotion. I mean, I think everybody has an experience of like a smell from childhood that just takes you right back. It's just like, yeah, that's really cool. I never thought to do that. I love that. I'm
thanks.
totally adopting
Thanks.
that.
Well,
What
it attaches the emotion and the placebo effect too, right? So I fully believe that ginger helps with an upset stomach. But also when you use that ginger that time and it works, you go, oh, this is going to make me feel better. This is going to make me feel better. So, oh, lavender makes me sleep so good. Or the opposite. I tried lavender that I got from Walmart and it doesn't work. Now I give you some doTERRA lavender and you're like, oh, that lavender doesn't work for me. So you're laying there trying to go to sleep and you're like, this doesn't work. So it works both ways.
Yep. Yeah, the placebo effect is so strong. Yeah. That's amazing. I mean, yeah, that's a whole we're running out of time because I am at a rented podcast studio. If you can see this, if you're watching and not just listening, there's this whole like rose trippy thing in the background, which is not my home recording area.
It's cool.
So I'm like paranoid now. They're gonna come in here and like kick me off any minute.
Well,
but I don't want to like go without giving some more helpful advice, because it's like we were saying at the beginning of this podcast, it's not just about focusing on the negative, focusing on the problems, because yeah, pharma is shit and is ruining people's mental health. The food system is shit and it's ruining people's mental and physical health. And we didn't even touch on this, but the quote unquote healthcare system and this type of care supposedly that we're receiving from the mainstream, again, it's just shit, and it's making people worse. The whole thing is designed to make people more sick, but it's like the power lies in you. So you're just talking about the essential oils, that like this is super low cost and easy to use. The technology is ancient and very accessible. And so homeopathy, I wanted you to touch on that too, because that's another super powerful tool and one that I have utilized a lot over the years. The flower remedies, the Bach remedies to help with mental health. So
yeah.
What are some?
So I haven't, it's funny because I started this out by saying that I had learned everything I needed to learn about homeopathy. And now I'm ready to go back into that to learn more, to use them more, because I have a huge collection of homeopathy. To be honest with you, I use homeopathy a lot more for physical ailments. I did use the coffee cruda recently for an overactive mind. That's a new symptom I'm having with my PMS, is insomnia and overactive mind. Like, not even stressed, just will not stop singing songs in my head.
That is one when I was suffering with insomnia that really helped me. I used that one a lot because that's the hamster wheel in your brain. That's really good for that, because that's what would happen. I would lay down. It's like hours of just brain spinning and spinning and spinning with just random useless thoughts.
So with the homeopathy, if any of your listeners or your friends know, I'd love to take a course in homeopathy, or have someone on either a podcast with me, an Instagram live, if you wanted to do something like that on your podcast, something where we could have a deep conversation about homeopathy, because it's such a simple remedy, but it's also complex. I don't know if remedy is the right word. So personally, what I've been doing that I wanted to touch on today was I've discovered this new thing called square breathing. Do you know about that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh.
I include that in my ecstatic habits course.
I,
Box breathing.
I should
Yep.
know box breathing. I don't know why. I just
Yep.
remembered this the other night, but I was laying there and I'm like, okay, and am I doing it right? I just like imagine I'm breathing up, exhale, inhale, exhale, right? And
Yep.
oh my gosh, it's like my new fun thing to do when I lay down. Because if I wake up in the middle of the night, because my daughter still sleeps with me, so I wake up a lot. And then I'm like, oh, I can go back to sleep. I'm just going to do this box breathing. So that has been really beneficial. I think recognizing going back down to the root of the problem. So, what is causing the stress? What is causing the insomnia? Last week, I had, or the previous week, I was PMSing, had no idea. That was causing me all of this anxious feeling. And so I'm like, what is happening right now? Let me come into it. So, I did some EFT tapping. I've been working with this woman, Jocelyn, and doing EFT tapping. And that brings forth what's going on. So I was figuring out, and then I realized it's my hormones. So I used my essential oil roller bottle for hormones to support that. And then I remembered the box breathing. And I also use the Serenity sleep system from doTERRA. So they come in capsules and the oils to put on. So I was like hitting it from all angles. I'm like, I have got to sleep. I was on like day 4 without sleeping. And then the other thing that I'm really wanting to implement more is sunshine in the morning. I'm a big
Yes.
sun baby,
Yes.
but I am not always an early riser. But lately, the first thing I've been doing is going out into my yard. I have this great grass in my yard. So I just walk right out barefoot and I stand in the sun while my coffee is brewing. So grounding.
That's Yep, exactly. Grounding and early morning light
Mm-hmm.
exposure. And that is also so good for resetting your circadian
Mm-hmm.
rhythm because one of the big problems that I think we have is our circadian rhythms are all screwed up. The blue light is screwing up our circadian rhythms. Our indoor lifestyles are screwing it up. Our eating too many hours of the day. That's why, the intermittent fasting, like restricting your caloric intake to that 12 hours is really important because that also screws up your circadian rhythm. And when we're not getting enough sleep, it completely cascades into other health problems, but especially mental health
Mm-hmm.
problems. That's why lack of sleep is a torture method
Oh yeah.
because it will literally make you go crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a method
Mm-hmm.
they use it in prisons and I mean throughout history. Restricting someone's sleep is a way to make you go crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why moms, that's why we have a lot of mom
Yeah,
followers,
right?
right? I love when I read, I'm like, okay, I'm checking off the list. I'm like, eat a healthy diet. Okay, got that. Drink lots of water. I got that. 8 hours of sleep. I'm like, yeah, I know. That would be nice. I try every night. Like, my kid still wakes me up, which is my choice because I like to sleep with her. But, it's just like the mom thing. It's like, that's a
I
joke.
I'm going to give you some
Okay.
advice. I'm going to give you some inspiration. I have my 4 little ones and my husband and our little rat terrier dog and our kitten half the night in bed. We have a queen bed with 2 twin beds all
Oh
set up in
my
a row.
gosh. I love it.
So we're all
I love
in this giant co-sleeping
I
bed.
love it.
And this is how I survive, okay? This is how I do it, how I get a full night's sleep. I go to bed, like I make sure we are in bed going to sleep at 9:30.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids, make sure because they need their full like 10 plus hours of sleep. So if we're asleep at 9:30, they like to get up at about 7:30. But I make sure I go to sleep with them. And then I wake up usually before the sun rises or right at sunrise. And I get out of bed before everybody else. My husband stays up later and then comes into bed. But I get up with the sunrise and witness the sunrise and do like my morning meditation then. And that like has consistently, I mean, this like literally has changed my life. I started when I was postpartum with my 5th, so he's 2. So for 2 years, I have been going to bed with the kids instead of staying up. Because what I would always do before is like, oh, I got to stay up and get my work done
Mm-hmm.
after they go to
Mm-hmm.
sleep. And when I switched that around and reset my circadian rhythm, I sleep beautifully now. And like I said, I suffered so bad with insomnia, like debilitating insomnia, which had cascading health effects for me for years. For like, I didn't know a time before the last 2 years where I would get like a full night's sleep.
Right.
And that has like changed my life.
Good. Well,
And I find now, like, I thought I was like a night owl, and I'm not. Like, I'm actually a morning person.
I love
when
early
switched
mornings. Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
I did it for a little while and I loved it. I was like getting up at 6:30 easily and I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that you gave me that advice because I thought you were going to tell me how I could get her out of bed with me. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I want her sleeping. And we also live in an RV, but I had created this little space for her with a little bed because I thought that if she wasn't right next to me, then she wouldn't pacify nurse throughout the night. And so I was like, well, maybe we'll get more sleep. She needs more sleep, you know? So I was like, I made this little bed like in the closet for her right next to my bed. I was like, couldn't sleep at all. I was laying there and I'm like, I have this whole bed. I'm like, I miss my baby. I want her next to me. I want her feet in my face and all over me, you know? So it's precious to me. So I thought you were going to be like, well, you got to break her of the habit. I'm like, no, I'm not ready. No, she's my one and only.
My 10-year-old's still in bed.
I love it. It's so good for them. If it works with you, it's
Yeah.
so good for them. Well, the one more thing I wanted to mention we had on our list was the collagen. What are your thoughts on collagen? Because this is something new that I'm kind of diving into.
I take it every single day, and I have for the last let's see, my fourth is 4.5, so 5 years. I started when I was pregnant with her. I started taking collagen. I take it religiously.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it's done wonders for my health personally. As just a good base, like a good, and it has to be like, make sure you're getting something that's sourced well. But yeah, that's also so this started. I started doing keto. I don't do keto anymore, but about 6 years ago, I did a keto diet. And so in the morning it used to be coffee, but I've kind of given coffee up. So now it's hot tea. And I have a scoop of collagen and ghee. I used to do butter, but I'm not doing butter right now. I'm doing ghee instead. You can also do coconut oil. And I used to do heavy whipping cream, but right now I'm doing full fat coconut milk, but a fat bomb, like a high fat content along with your collagen in the hot liquid first thing in the morning is just so like satiating and sets you up for such good energy because that fat feeds your brain. And so going back to mental health, a high fat diet is nourishing for your brain, like especially the animal fats, the cholesterol. Your brain is made of the cholesterol. It's like that's what your brain uses for fuel. And so a low fat diet is actually really, really bad for mental health. So that's another,
like ghee would be a good option, right? Because I'm trying to think vegetarian here because I just don't like meat. But like the collagen, people are talking about it more. I'm leaning into it.
There's also seafood collagen, so marine collagen, which is made from like the bones of, I think bones and scales and whatever of fish. So for a lot of people that maybe don't want to eat a cow, because most collagen is made from beef. So if you're not wanting to like eat a ruminant animal like that, there's marine collagen. There's also collagen that's made from eggs, from the membranes of eggs. So there's other sources that are vegetarian friendly. So, I don't recommend a vegan diet to anybody. Like, I don't care what anybody says. I think that veganism is like the least healthy thing. Maybe for a few people it works. Like I've heard some people like, oh, I've been a vegan for 20 years and I'm in great health. But I think for most people, vegan diet is like a death sentence. So
yeah, I'm kind of torn on that. I think it takes a lot of work. I think you really have to, like, I had the idea that I was going to raise Selah vegan, at least start, because I was really into veganism after I had her. But you have to eat a lot. Like, you really have to eat a lot, and you really have to have you have to eat a lot of nuts, a lot of veggies, I followed this girl on YouTube for a long time, and I thought she was very successful at it, but it's hard. So, and then again, I have, Selah has a split family. So we go to her other side of the family. They're not vegetarian, they're not vegan. So like, let's say the only option is cheese pizza. Like I can't not ever let her eat cheese because then she's going to have cheese pizza and she's going to be like, have a horrible stomach ache, So I try to like give her little bits of things. We're still vegetarian, but little bits of things in her diet to where she can handle, some ice cream when she goes out, because I'm like, you have to be a kid. You have to experience these things. So the collagen I was going to say. So doTERRA does have a collagen that I have been taking on and off. Because I'm having a little bit of hair loss. So I was like, either it's from my dreadlocks or from my hormones. So I started taking the collagen. And I just double checked myself here. It is marine based. But my thing that I don't like about it, and it has 9 different types of collagen. So it's very high quality, but it's sweet. It's like a cherry pomegranate flavored. And I just don't love that because it's like, I don't want to have all these like sweet candy things throughout my day. This is not what I feel like. So my friend Carrie was telling me that she has a collagen protein powder and it's chocolate. So she puts it in her coffee in the morning and it's like you were saying, like she puts the heavy cream and it's like this like protein shake kind of in her coffee in the morning. That appealed to me. And she gave me some to try and I'm like, okay.
High fat, high protein, first thing in the morning as the first thing you consume. And like I also will put egg yolks in sometimes. Like I have like a little whisker and I'll whisk in egg yolks.
A raw egg yolk?
Yeah, raw pastured. I raise my own chickens. I don't recommend doing it from the ones from the grocery store.
Yeah.
But raw pastured, like if you can get one from a local farmer's market or whatever, egg yolk. Yep.
Wow.
Some good shit
hardcore.
right there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I hope that we covered, you and I could literally sit and talk for hours. So I hope we covered a lot of mental health options here. I love when I listen to a podcast and they tell me how all this stuff's fucked up and then they give you a solution, Like we want solutions here. Like,
yep.
So I think we covered a lot of that.
And we'll go into much greater detail in our workshop. So if anybody's interested, we'll put the links to that, and we'll put the links on how to work with us. We're both healthy lifestyle coaches. So yeah, we would love to support anyone with more detailed information. And I have a 7-day detox program that is dropping today.
Ooh.
And so it'll be out. The Ecstatic Habits series. The first one is the 7-day detox. And so I talk a lot about this kind of stuff in there. So yeah, you can learn more and get in touch with us. We'll put all the links in the show notes. Yeah. And anything else you want to say, Shellbe, before we sign off?
I don't think so. If anyone has any questions or they'd like to do a consultation with anything with essential oils or any of the products that doTERRA has, they have a lot of really great digestion supplements and digestive enzymes that I've been using personally a lot. So especially if you have any type of like dairy, gluten. I mean, if I don't know why cheese pizza is always like my go-to, but I'm like, I'm somewhere and there's nothing to eat but cheese pizza. I have my things in my purse, right? I'm like, I take the TerraZyme and that really helps with the gluten and the dairy and keeps me from getting super bloated. So you should see my purse. I just have a little bit of everything in there. I'm like, what do you need? What do you need?
All the doTERRA roller bottles lined up.
Literally. I'm like, what's your emotion?
That's like me. That's like me with tinctures. I'm huge on tinctures. It's the same thing. I've got all of my like tinctures lined up. I told my husband he's got to build me this like giant medicine cabinet that's like full length mirror size to put all of my tinctures. So it's like my medicine.
Have you seen those reels where it's like whenever you're sick and you go to your holistic friend's house and they're like, here, I have a tincture. I have some ginger. What's your ailment? Like that is so me. I'm like, which way do you want to go?
So
do you want to go homeopathy,
Yep.
essential oils? I have some elderberry. I have some onions cut up with some honey in it. What can you tolerate?
Oh yeah.
And then my kid, I'm like, honey, drink some of this. She's like, mm-mm. I'm like,
My kids too. They're like, does it taste like dirt?
I know. And that's why I'm going to go ahead and plug essential oils one more time here. That's why I love those, because you can, what's the word? Like you just slide it in without them even noticing, you know?
You just sneakily roll it on their foot.
Roll it on her
a
foot.
bit.
And then if you don't want to eat anything or take anything like the sweet stuff, just put it on the bottom of their feet, or passively. Just put I'm just going to set this diffuser right here because she seemed to like be real moody today, and I'm just going to waft some of this patchouli in the air, and then everyone will be calm. Yeah. Passive aggressive.
Well, that's passive mental health.
There we
therapy.
go.
I like that. I like that.
You can add that hashtag to this. Thank you, Nicole.
All right, girl.
Thank
I
you.
love you.
I love you.
We will talk
You
again
are so awesome.
soon.
All right.